Hey everyone, thank you for being back to my channel. As promised, here is a video of how we made the rain system, how it's been assembled, mounted, the whole 9 yards. If you have any questions, as per usual, don't hesitate to post them in a comment down below and I will answer as soon as I can. Thank you! So first of all, we have a heavy duty pump that's meant for household use to pump up rainwater. It can go up to 8 bar, but we use it at around 4 bar. The nozzle that connects is about 1 inch, so we had to reduce it to 4 millimeters, which is just under a fifth of an inch. So yeah, to get all of those connected, got different pieces, put them together as a test, which you can see here. Then we had to take them all apart again, put Teflon in between to make sure that over time it wouldn't start leaking with the pressure being put out. Once all of those were connected, we were able to mount the pump to the outside of the enclosure. Made a little platform, put the pump on, connected the tubing. Here it was still in the test phase, so the tubing wasn't put away nicely yet to the side of the enclosure, which has been done by now. And here you can see an anti-return valve, which is meant to keep the tube and the pump full, otherwise it would drain every time it turns off. The reservoir that holds the water is next to the enclosure too. It's just a bit smaller than the space in between the wall and the enclosure, so it fits quite perfectly and holds a bit over 100 liters, so about I think 26.5 gallons. We pre-drilled a hole in the top that fits the tube that pumps the water up, but also a hole that allows me to fill up the reservoir with a hose. And of course we strapped a plank to the side to prevent too much bulging happening with the water pressure. And then I went to get profiles that would hide all the tubing and the nozzles, as I do not trust Tanuki to not hang from them. Once all of that was here and ready, we did a first test with the nozzles and the pump, just to see how far they can spray, how wide of an angle we could get on them, and with changing the angle if it also affected the width and the depth it could reach. Once we did that test outside, it was the same test inside. Together with the profile I was gonna put all the tubing in. We drilled holes on 3 different heights, put 3 nozzles in just to see how close to the top of the enclosure it would spray, because of course I can't have it hit the ceiling. But also it couldn't be too low or it would be hitting the glass in the front. So yeah, this was the very first test. We ended up going with the lower 2 holes we drilled. And once that was done, it was all down to getting the profile ready for all the nozzles we needed, calculating how many nozzles we needed, how much distance we needed between each of them, which ones needed to be wider open with a wider angle spray or which ones needed to reach further back. So that was just a lot of trial and error, turning it on, changing a few nozzles, turning it off, turning it on. So yeah, that was mostly trying it out, seeing what it gives, and getting consistently drenched. That was one of the things that mostly happened while setting this system up. But it is gonna be way better for both the animal and the plants in the enclosure, so I was really happy to get it on. Next up here is the very first bigger test. So we attached a profile with clamps, had all the nozzles in, and there we could see which ones were spraying properly. One was hitting the clamp, so it was dribbling a bit heavier down there. Quite a few, as you can see, were hitting the glass, so had to change the angle, the width on the nozzles. but that's the easiest of all the parts of setting the system up. And here you can see how they've been mounted on the inside. So you have the profile, and then there is an insulation panel cut to size, just a strip of an insulation panel that's been stuck to the profile of the glass. And onto that, the profile with the Rainsystem. It needed to be offset, otherwise it was gonna just dribble into the gliding system of the glass instead of into the enclosure. And last but not least, a video where you can see it fully in action, including the whole timer. It's currently set to 1 minute a day. So enjoy!